After more than a decade, the Texas Democratic Party now has a new person in charge. This past weekend, a group of party leaders voted and selected Kendall Scudder as the new chair. He'll now have the responsibility of moving the Texas Democrats forward after some blowout losses in the 2024 elections and President Trump's return to the White House. Kendall Scudder is now joining us here live to talk more about his plans for the future. So Kendall, welcome and thanks for joining us.
Thanks so much for having me.
We appreciate you taking the time. Just to put it plainly, clearly something seems not to be going all too well with the Democrats here in the state and connecting with voters out there. We saw some of the candidates backslide in support during the 2024 elections, lose some of that vote share among key voting groups like Latino voters in South Texas. I would imagine when you ran for party chair, you said, I have some ideas about how to turn things around just a bit. So let's start there. What would you like to tackle first and take that approach moving forward?
Well, let's make very clear, it's a new day in the Texas Democratic Party, and we're ready to build a grassroots apparatus in every corner of this state. There are 40 mid-sized cities in this state with more than 100,000 people, and anywhere outside of Texas, it would be a population center. But what's happening here in Texas is that Democrats have neglected those areas. We can either argue with people and tell them they're wrong, or we can look in the mirror and we can own up to it and we can make it right. And so we're going to build a party in every corner of this state, from Amarillo to Beaumont to Brownsville to El Paso and Texarkana, to make sure that we're showing up and telling people in these communities why we are the party that's fighting for working families.
Now, I mentioned there that you are now the new party chair. How do you view that role in particular? What would you like it to be responsible for moving forward?
To me, what the state party chair is the chief activist in the state. You're the person who kind of helps cause the shots as to where we're going to be active. We have to raise all the money for the party. You can donate to the party at txdemocrats.org. And the chair is the person who not only facilitates party business, but makes sure that our messaging is on point, make sure that we are building this apparatus in a way that works for working people, not just in policy, but also on the ground. We have to make sure that working people have an opportunity to be organizers within our party so that we can build power across this state, bottom of the election, bottom of the ballot, all the way up to the top.
Yeah, you're leading right into my next question because I'm wondering about candidate recruitment for the Democrats. I mean, next year there will be some of the marquee races, including governor, lieutenant governor, one of the U.S. Senate seats. Are the Democrats kind of on the back foot at this point, not having any kind of major leading candidates, at least not right now?
Now, here's the reality. Texas Democrats get out of bed in the morning and eat glass, okay? Even if things are a little bit tough, we're fighters, and we're going to keep going and pushing forward. The next election, we'll probably have Ken Paxton as the Republican nominee for U.S. Senate. You'll have a wildly unpopular lieutenant governor, a wildly unpopular governor on the ballot, and we have Democrats that are waiting in the wings, ready to step up and take those people on. When people across this state hear what these Republicans have done for them, not just here in Texas, but nationally, they're going to stand up and fight back, because this Republican administration in D.C. is cratering our economy. And just recently, the president has said that he doesn't care if these tariffs raise prices. Well, I care if these tariffs raise prices. Democrats care if these tariffs raise prices, and I think that the voters do too.
Now, what are some of the measures of success that you would like to see as party chair? I would imagine winning some sort of race statewide would be up there on top, but is there anything additional to that, at least right now while you're starting out?
Winning elections is always the highest priority, and that's what we're going to be laser focused on nonstop, right? But I think that there are also some wins that we can have around the state, like making sure that we're filling our county chair positions. Over 20% of counties in the state of Texas don't have a Democratic party. We have an obligation to make sure that we're filling those spots, filling precinct chair spots, making sure that people are active and engaged, and making sure that we don't have a milquetoast party that's sitting around and crying process when bad things are happening. People want a Democratic Party that will stand up and fight back, and that's what we're delivering. It is a new day in the Texas Democratic Party. We are here to stand up and fight back on behalf of the working men and women of this state.
I want to ask something about your personal story before you became party chair. You previously served as the chair for finance within the party for Texas, but you also talked about growing up in East Texas with family members who are in the LGBTQ+ community.
Yeah.
Regarding that background, though, and drawing upon that, what do you think their approach should be for the party in addressing its support for that community.
Here's the reality. The hardest part about having two moms wasn't having two moms. It was the people who had a problem with me having two moms. We have an obligation as a party to make sure that we are looking out for everyone and making sure that every person is treated with basic human dignity and respect. And if you don't like folks that are in that community, or you have a problem with it, you should just mind your own business. That's the position that we take as a party. The way that I think that we should move forward is that we should continue making sure that every person is treated with dignity and respect. And when we're doing our overarching messaging, we're going to talk about economic issues that affect people's pocketbooks, because whether you are gay or you are straight or you are black or you are brown or you are white, those issues impact every single person. And so we're going to make sure that people understand that as these prices are going up, that is because Donald Trump does not care if your family can't afford groceries. They don't care if you can't stay inside your home. They're only concerned about making sure that these billionaires, the richest man in the world sitting in the Oval Office right now, by the way, gutting people's social safety nets. We're going to make sure that people understand that we're on the front lines fighting to make sure that you can afford to feed your family and put dance shoes on your kiddo.